When creating a new world, you can go down to the world modifiers section, and this gives you a lot of customization. If you want to reduce the grind, you can do things like increase the number of resources that you're going to get, and also allow yourself to take any item you wish through the portal, because by default there are certain items you cannot portal. On top of that, you can change the death penalty in combat and stuff like that to make the game a bit easier for your first time through if you wish. This wasn't available when I first played Valheim, but I really wish it was, because it would have made life a lot easier. When you first join at the spawn area, there is this little stone over here, and you can get the first boss Eikthar's location by going up to it and pressing E. This will then open your map and show you a direction to head in order to get to the first boss location. There's a lot of useful stuff around spawn when you first join, so you can find things like the stones and the sticks here, and you want to pick absolutely everything up that you see around spawn. Also be sure to check behind the boss stones, as you will find raspberries at every spawn point, as well as mushrooms, and these can sometimes be difficult to see as you see here, but you definitely want them. You see, mushrooms are great to have at a party because they're fun guys. Picking up everything at spawn is just the start of that philosophy. You want to pick up absolutely everything you see in the game as you're running around. One thing you can do is press escape, go to the settings and the graphic settings, and put the vegetation quality down to low. This will make spotting things a little bit easier. You can see with the vegetation on low, this is what these mushrooms here look like. But if we put the vegetation up to high, you can see there they get a lot more buried in the undergrowth, and if you're running through quickly, you might have missed them if the vegetation was on high. You start the game with this torch right here, and you can equip that by right-clicking it just like this, and then put it away on your back by pressing R, so that to get it back out you just have to press R again. You can also equip it by just pressing the 1 key and then using the R keys again. Now the reason I told you about the torch is because a greyling will often be right near the spawn when you first join, and it will come and attack you, but if I equip my torch, you see there, it just runs away to a bit of a distance. Do be careful, because once it gets to a certain distance, it will still throw rocks at you, which can damage you. However, this torch can be used to also hit the greyling, which will do the club damage, but also set it on fire to do fire damage. You can see there, one hit will almost kill it, and the second hit will kill it once the fire damage takes effect, and you'll get some resin from him. This can be very useful to ensure you survive through the first little bit of the game. If we press the tab key, you'll see there's a few things we can build, but the hammer is going to be particularly useful to us in the early game. By crafting that up, it will allow us to craft a lot more things within the game, but it has another use early on, which we're going to talk about today. You see, when you're out exploring, you'll find a range of different structures, such as this one here. What you can do when you have enough wood is use the hammer to build yourself up a workbench. By placing that nearby, we can then use the hammer and middle mouse button click to take down all of these structures right here. Once we take down all the bits that are holding the structure to the floor, gravity will take over and the entire structure will collapse. Be sure to take down any bits that are connecting it to a tree as well, as this will ground the items and they will not fall down. You can see here gravity's taken over, this is all falling down, and it's a really fast way to get yourself a ton of resources in the early game. And it's certainly a lot quicker than having to chop all this wood down using an early game axe. On top of this, certain structures like this one here can give you access to better items. So once again, if I place the workbench down somewhere nearby and I take down these right here, you'll see that we're about to pick up some core wood and unlock a ton of new build recipes. Normally, to get core wood, you'd have to go into the Black Forest, which would be very dangerous at the start of the game. So this is a great way to get that before you should be able to. On top of that, you'll see we have a beehive here, and these can form in any of the early game structures you'll see. But if we take down the structure around it, the beehive will fall. So once the beehive fell down, we go and collect the items, and we get this. We get honey, and we also get a bee. This will open up the beehive recipe, so we can start making our own honey for the future, which is a fantastic early game food source. If you want to see a full guide as to how to start a new Valheim world properly, then click the video on screen right now. And be sure to subscribe to see all of my future videos.